channel. My name is Berry, and today we are going to be watching Backyard Squirrel Maze 1.0 Ninja Warrior course. I know you guys won't believe it, but once I was on Ninja Warrior, I was doing the salmon ladder, okay? I was doing push-ups, pull-ups, freaking it. Okay, that's not true, and you could tell by my horrible form, but let's check this out.
This is a bird feeder, and everything to my left is my attempt at making it squirrel-proof.
I was pausing to talk about the squirrel feeder because I was wondering, like, when am I going to get to that age of having, like, a squirrel feeder and, like, a bird feeder and stuff? Like, my dad does that, and, like, I started liking watching HGTV. I think my time is coming.
If they want the bird seed, they will first need to pass through what is basically an 8-part Ninja Warrior obstacle course for squirrels.
Whoa.
This course is extremely challenging.
Okay, the way he was moving, I thought that was a man.
It is not for the timid of heart. But out of the gate, I will admit that in hindsight that I completely underestimated my adversary. Now, if you're wondering why I would go through all this trouble, we need to go back 8 weeks ago when I found myself stuck at home and very bored.
That's why I became a VTuber. Hi.
So I installed a bird feeder and decided to become a bird watcher. And it was just so lovely.
I bird watch too. Ladies, hit me up.
Until they showed up. Now, luckily, my bird feeder had a wire cage around it, big enough for the birds to slip inside, but small enough to prevent the squirrels from getting the food. And that worked really well until right here. For me, this was like the moment in Jurassic Park when they realized the velociraptors can open door handles. And once the door was open, it was clear this wasn't their first rodeo.
Holy throat goat! The upside down 360 no-scope mother sucker! Kill cam that you can't even get angry at, mother sucker! Oh my god!
They basically cleared this whole tube of birdseed by the end of the day.
I should call
this bird feeder was advertised as being squirrel-proof, so I bought another squirrel-proof bird feeder to replace it.
Is this like the same lie, like when they sell dog toys that are destruction-proof, but for some reason my dog doesn't care and takes it as a challenge?
It's got this outer cage suspended by some springs, and so if a bird comes and lands here, it doesn't weigh that much, and it has access to the seeds. However, if a squirrel comes, it'll grab onto this cage. Its weight will force the springs down, thereby preventing access to the seeds.
Oh, and then they lose their limbs.
I have no idea how the squirrels could possibly outsmart this.
It's over.
But let's see. And this one worked exactly as intended.
Okay, guys, I am not a squirrel hater anymore. I'm actually reformed. I was a squirrel hater because for a long time there was a squirrel coming to my house and chewing on the internet cords. Okay? So I have a right to be angry, but I have learned to love again. You
can see the birds love it, but when the squirrel comes along, the cage shifts down and now all the seed ports are covered up. Every time they tried, it was the same results. However, the next morning, this guy manages to unclip the springs that hold the cage up, which means the cage stays in the lowered position where it blocks all the seed openings. Problem with that is now they can get to the lid. But this bird feeder lid doesn't hinge open to give direct access, so he goes with a different tactic.
What? Holy shit! Mother
where he now has access to all the bird seed he wants. And so I decided I would try one.
Not only did you take all my seed, but then you show me whole? Please be listening with headphones on.
More bird feeder design. Okay. Wow.
It's censored!
It almost feels intentional at this point.
Yeah,
this one's supposed to work well because it's got this baffle, which is supposed to keep the squirrels from just coming straight down and getting to the seeds. And more importantly, there's no way for them to rip this off.
Okay.
We'll see. This one debuted to similar results. As he hangs by a few toes, this is when I really started gaining appreciation for what they were capable of. It definitely seemed like this bird feeder was their favorite. Okay.
He's filming a music video! Get my good side, get my good side.
Yeah, they're flexing on me for sure. And at this point, a plan was forming in my head, but just to be thorough, I moved the post away from the fence, and I can't say I was surprised when they just climbed it. Nor was I surprised to see they could shimmy up and down a small metal pole, or even a large one for that matter.
Way bigger than average.
Whether they could climb a certain pole material was a moot point anyways because of this. Look at this! These guys are basically freaking rodent-sized Simone.
How is he doing a spin? Oh my god! Give him a fun.
Files. And on some level, this is what it felt like when someone stole a package from my porch that didn't belong to them. And I harnessed that indignation, spending a year designing the glitter bomb bait package.
Hello.
Complete with special fragrances. If I could design a package to deter thieves, could I design a bird feeder to deter squirrels? And so after a couple weeks of brainstorming, designing, and building with my buddy John, we put it all together in this 20-second build montage.
Okay. Do you trust me with any of these? Like, I really want to do a stream where we make a birdhouse, but I feel like I'm untrustworthy around power tools. When I was a kid, I would give my Barbies like a little swirly. Like, I could do that. I would cut their hair off. I'd like give them like little like makeup with markers and stuff. I was good.
Here are the basic elements. For starters, here's where I've placed their favorite bird feeder, at the end of the course. And to sweeten the deal, right below that, there's a trap door.
So poorly. I'm obviously a well-adjusted adult who has done nothing wrong. I've never been to jail. I've never been arrested. I've never been stopped by a cop. I've never gone and stole anything anywhere. I've never done that to anybody in real life. Guys. And yes, I did eat toys too, okay? And the best toys to eat were the Polly Pockets, because when you ate the clothes, it would trap your spit, and then you would have like a little spit thing in your mouth. And it was great, okay? We've all been there.
And if they step here, it releases a butt ton of walnuts and—
Oh my God, I love walnuts. Oh my God, walnuts are like a top tier nut, other than cashews, but cashews are a little buttery. Holy crap, I would eat some walnuts right now.
And unfurls some celebratory banners. Why walnuts? I'm glad you asked. I'm using walnuts because over the course of a week, I put out a buffet of 7 different nuts and seeds. And all 4 times I repeated the experiment, walnuts were always the one they ate first.
Because they're good.
What's great about placing this here is it levels the playing field, as the birds can fly up and get as much food as they want anytime they need it. The squirrels, however, will have to work for it, because the only way to make it to this platform is if they work their way through my 8-part Ninja Warrior obstacle course, which all starts right here. This is the only platform on the course that has a pole that isn't covered in slippery stuff, which means this is where they have to climb up to enter the course. If they try and get up any other way, they can't keep a good grip, and they just slide back down. So the first—
Send this guy to jail for animal abuse. What, this is just the fitness pacer test? Should every teacher go to jail for the fitness pacer test? I still hear that damn beep in my mind.
The challenge is the bridge of instability. Now this may look easy, but the trick is it attaches at a single point on each end. And from a physics standpoint, that makes it no different than trying to crawl across a tightrope.
The ladder! Oh, that's what I was gonna say! Okay, this always looks so easy. Has anybody in chat actually done this? This was out of my tax bracket. I never paid for it. Like, is it easy to do, or is it kind of hard? No, no, no. I think I could do it. Yesn't. It's hard? What makes it hard? Is it because it gets smaller at the top? So since it gets smaller up here, then you have to, like, make sure you don't, like, wibble wobble? What's the physics behind this? To balance the angle? It rotates. Oh, so it goes like, wom, 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 wom. I could train for Ninja Warrior. I went to clown school.
It's the same deceptive principle with that one carnival game that's so impossible. I broke it down in another video where I used physics to show which carnival games were basically scams.
Basketball, it most of the time is a scam because I think it's like the same exact size as the ball, so then it doesn't go in the hole. And I know that because I was on the basketball team and I was like the best player, and anytime I ever played the basketball game, I lost. So it was like obviously like not good.
And the science on how to beat them. Next up, the maze of 1,000 corridors.
Whoa,
this one's a bit more cerebral, but if they make it through
Mario!
that, it will bring them to the pitchfork tumblers, which are inspired by the show Wipeout. But unlike Wipeout—
I applied to be on Wipeout! They told me, screw you! But to be fair, my audition tape, what I did is I had my car in the driveway, and I rolled on top of like the hood, and I was like, yeah. Then I got into like a swing set, and I swung really high, and then I jumped off, and I landed, and I went, uh-huh. Yeah, I didn't get casted.
I should point out that all these contraptions are squirrel friendly, and even with a little back force, they will break away and stop spinning.
Aww.
Now, if they can make it
yay! I don't hate squirrels!
the pitchfork tumblers of treachery, they come to one of my personal favorites, the home wrecker.
Whoa, she's beautiful. Oh my God, look at that off-color bikini.
I put her in to tempt the squirrel to lose focus on the real prize at the end of the course. Because this pad has a pressure sensor underneath it, and it connects to a microcontroller that has a relay that connects to a solenoid, that connects to a pneumatic piston, that connects back to this platform with the pressure sensor. And so if they stand here for more than 3 seconds...
Love isn't real. It's just there to hurt you, so that way you don't get your nut. Your walnut.
They've got to start the course all over again.
Damn!
Next up is the sneaky bridge of deception. I've suspended a juicy walnut right in the middle.
Told you.
There's no way this bridge will support their weight, so it'll be interesting to see how they approach it.
I'd be fine. I've been doing Pilates, I'm fine.
Next challenge is called the tourist trap. It's actually a bit of a reward for making it this far. If the squirrel sticks their head through this board my wife painted, it's just a photo op they can hang on the wall of their tiny squirrel nest. I'll place a walnut here as an incentive for them not to miss this unique opportunity. The penultimate challenge are the quad steps of great elevation. This is taken straight from Ninja Warrior, and this is super tricky because these pads are all totally smooth and placed at a 45-degree incline.
You just gotta go fast, and you can't doubt yourself, and also you can't slow down, and you just gotta use your momentum.
And now for the last challenge. At this point, they are a mere few feet away from their ultimate goal, but if they're not careful, they'll have to deal with the orbital assist platform.
Giant orbital laser hammer of dawn ass thing comes from the sky. I just wanted a walnut.
AKA the final countdown. AKA, it's not a catapult, it's a squirrelapult. Which means they now have to go back and start all the way over from the beginning.
Evil.
Now, if they want to avoid that fate, they just need to stand on this pad for less than 3 seconds. But once again, I've placed a diversion here. This one projects an optical illusion of anything you place in the bottom of this dish.
Oh my God, it's like blinding like a Ford F-150.
It's actually super trippy and looks even more impressive in real life because the projected image is 3D. They're like $9 on Amazon, and I put a link that explains the juicy physics of how they work in the video description. Now, with regards to squirrel safety, I know I seem to have this reputation of...
What the hell? Some Home Alone-ass contraptions.
Improvised high-speed projectiles, and so this one might worry a few animal lovers out there, including my wife. We have 5 pets and 1 child, and the child was the only one I had a say in. So rest assured...
What?
I can adjust the pressure on the piston, and we'll be saying...
No, you know he's like the kind of guy who's like, I don't want the dog, and then he starts like sleeping and the dog's on him, and like they're watching Jeopardy late at night, and he's just like having fun. Like he became the dog dad.
Way below any launch force that could hurt any of our adorable backyard contestants. And so finally, after making it through all that, we're back here at the world's most satisfying bird feeder. And as far as I'm concerned, if they make it here, they've earned the right to gorge next to the birds for as long as they want. And so after nearly a month of prep work, the course was officially open for business.
Yeah! I'm going out here.
You could smell the walnuts at the final station, and you could see the gears turning because right above that was their favorite bird feeder.
They're stalking
And so before long, we had our first contender.
Yay! Go, 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 go! The floor should be lava. What sport would be more fun with a lava floor? Maybe football? Oh, he's freaked out. Flip back over, you got this!
That didn't exactly go as planned, so Rick decides to regroup. Speaking of which, that's Rick. There are a total of 4 competitors that will be attempting the course. First,
I remember one time when is he gonna smell me? He's right behind me, isn't he? I remember one time I watched Ninja Warrior, and then what happened was the guy on Ninja Warrior said that he never sleeps, and he does it on purpose because it actually made him a stronger person. He hasn't slept in 3 years, but I knew that he was lying because what happened was that he actually didn't do that because he would die.
First up is Rick, and he weighs 500 grams. I know this because he's actually standing on a custom-made scale. Rick is...
How dare you out him? What if he was sensitive about his weight, and now it's on this YouTube video?
Very clever, as you'll see here in a minute, but he also gets spooked easily. Next up is Marty. He's basically indistinguishable from Rick. Rick and Marty are inseparable and pretty much
Rick and Marty, Rick and Marty.
spend all their time together as a pair. Our third contender is Frank, also coming in around 500 grams. He's very gutsy. He's also kind of dumb. Finally, we've got my personal...
Every freaking friend group needs a dumb mother sucker. They make everything so much more fun.
favorite, Fat Gus. He's just really charming.
Wait, the Avengers move. What is that?
And will strike a pose if he sees the camera. He also really likes to eat, and he tips the scales at an impressive 800 grams.
Damn! Can you do it?
While most of the squirrels are kind of particular before making a selection and then gracefully leaping away, Fat Gus just goes for it.
How you think I got this name?
Hands free. Just makes himself real comfortable.
I wanna
Here
do
he is
that.
laying out with a light snack from the bird feeder. I mean, you can't fault the guy for just clearly appreciating a good meal. So now that you know our 4 contenders, let's get back to Rick. So he hops back on, and he's actually doing better than his first attempt.
He's learning.
Just barely. This is the best because he's like, okay, I got this.
Yeah.
Never mind. Well, maybe I... No, I definitely don't.
He's doing an obby.
And this was the exact moment I realized I just might be outmatched here.
Speed run! He's a flying squirrel!
Marty was watching Rick, and after a quick dip of his toes in the water, adopts his strategy right out of the gate. Oof, so close. But an
Wow,
excellent
he made the
recovery.
meta.
And Fat Gus, perhaps predictably, comes up a little short. Which brings us to the Maze of 1,000 Corridors, which, to be
You can do
honest,
this. Come on, you gotta be dumb if you can't do this.
they mastered this one pretty quickly. Here's a solid run from Fat Gus.
Speed run, wow!
And now for the pitchfork
Time
tumblers
save.
of treachery. Marty was like, yeah, that's a hard pass. Fat Gus is
I wanna
just
move my
like,
head.
abort! Frank is just like,
Why don't they just climb the side of the wood and then run across the top and then jump over?
nope. Then he's like, wait a second. Still nope. Then Marty flies in real hot over the top. He didn't make it through, but that's part.
That's what I say! Am I a squirrel? I mean, I guess I kind of sound like...
Partial credit as far as I'm concerned. And then here's Fat Gus with my favorite attempt by far.
Let me move my Fat Gus head.
And then Frank shows no fear, which helps him pull off this near flawless run. And finally, Smart Rick surgically weaves his way through, essentially untouched. And I should mention, the squirrels were
Because the vid is scripted. Squirrels, read your lines. Fat Gus, you better hit your cues or you're out of here, man. And then you better not even ask about a no damn severance check. Yeah, get to work.
most active from 6 to 10 a.m.
Baby
So every morning,
squirrels.
I've been getting up before the sunrise to start filming from in my house like one of those camouflage nature photographers. Only like a suburbanized version. I've also had a handful of streaming cameras rolling 24/7, which has allowed me to make such discoveries as we have the world's worst guard dog. Thanks for
Doesn't matter the species. A man just loves to pee outside.
the help, pal. Now back to the homewrecker. You can see Rick is instinctively suspicious of this gold digger and only for a brief moment puts his full weight on the platform. I told you he was smart. His buddy Marty, on the other hand...
Oh my god, he's watching Squirrel Podcasts.
She is a cruel mistress. And because I know my wife is going to ask me, no, this will not hurt the squirrel for 2 reasons. Number
Why?
1, they are amazing like cats and always land on their feet. And 2,
They do? Wait, are squirrels like an NA thing only? Or do like, if you don't live in America, do you have like another, do you have like a squirrel brother? Is there like something sort of kind of like a squirrel where you live? Yes? We have squirrels. Oh, there are European squirrels. Okay, wait, let me look them up. European squirrel. Oh, they're cuter. Wait, they look like little foxes. They have like huge ears and stuff. CT, put up a picture of a red European squirrel. They're kind of cool. Wait, you got like Firefox.
they
We have
themselves were
Internet
jumping
Explorer.
from this height all the time, and in some cases, much higher. In fact, squirrels are one of the few mammals that can survive a fall from any height because they make their terminal velocity so low. You can see it right here. They make their body as flat as possible, then put
Wait, Squirrel Girl's not flat though. Trust me. I played Marvel Rivals.
Their tail back to increase drag. They basically become their own parachute. And then right before they land, they pull in and fully extend their arms and legs to act as shock-absorbing landing gear. This is so cool. Now back to the course where even smart Rick eventually lets his guard down.
No, Rick!
Which is exactly when she strikes. But just like all the other obstacles so far, after a day or two, they'd mastered it. In this case, even disregarding her offering of a fresh walnut.
Damn, they don't want nothing to do
Now
with
onto
her.
the Slinky Bridge of Deception, and this was the sleeper obstacle in my book. That is not a large gap, which they can easily jump, but having the Slinky there just threw them off somehow. You can see how much Frank is struggling here, and he's the brave one. And Rick only jumps when Marty shows up for emotional support.
Nice.
But like all the obstacles so far, after a day or two, they'd mastered it. Now on to our third to last obstacle, the tourist trap. And this one was just a freaking delight. A little peanut.
Oh my god. 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 Wait, wait, wait. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Howdy, y'all.
Butter really did the trick here.
Cute. He looks so cute.
Now here comes Fat Gus, and I mean, how Fat Gus is this? He sees the camera and he's like, paint me like one of your French squirrels. Yeah?
Why'd he mount that? What is he doing?
No? No takers? All right. Here's another classic Gus where he looks at the camera. Wait a second. Play that back. And freeze. Zoom, enhance.
He's pregnant! He's pregnant!
Well, turns out Fat Gus is—
I know it! I know it! I can smell it on him!
not a dude. And he's pregnant.
I can smell
I
it!
was suddenly feeling real uncomfortable about all those weight comments. So after a bit of a pivot to smooth things over, we soldiered on to the quad steps of great elevation. Frank comes in rather confident, almost to his
Yeah, wait, Fat Gus was never fat. He was dual cued.
demise. But he pulls off the smooth recovery.
Wow. Nice form.
So after not much time at all, they were looking pretty good here. In fact, one morning I noticed Marty totally skipped the last step altogether, which I took as a challenge, and so I removed the middle step to see what they would do. And who else but Fantastic Gus? Let's slow that down a bit. They're such amazing jumpers, so I suppose the quick mastery here wasn't a surprise. I mean, this right here is probably a 10-foot jump. And here's some classic brave but dumb Frank. He'd already entered the course normally and made it to the home wrecker at least a dozen times by this point.
Wait, did Fat Gus immediately disregard the home wrecker squirrel? She had, like, her baby and her baby daddy on her mind. She did not care about no home wrecker squirrel.
And yet for some reason, he decides this 12-foot jump is his best course of action. And Smart Rick was the first one to enter the course, so in the end, after about a week of effort, it was fitting he was the one to make it to the jackpot.
Sure gonna be!
And he's so stoked, he apparently wants to run the whole course in reverse. In hindsight, we probably should have made the jackpot a little quieter. Here's Marty, as always, not far behind.
Wait, where the nuts at? Yay, nuts!
He's also a bit flighty, as you know, which worked against him here because down below Fantastic Gus, ever the opportunist, comes through with a real stroke of brilliance.
Cheater!
But pretty soon Marty comes back like,
Stolen valor.
I'm the one who kind of earned that. And then Fantastic Gus is like, you snooze, you lose, sucker. And might I just say, Fantastic Gus, when you sit like that, you don't look an ounce over 700 grams. Eventually,
Okay, wait till she get her mommy squirrel makeover and then come back. Okay?
they learned that sound was a good thing, and they'd quickly return for their reward before Fantastic Gus got any ideas. So here's a single camera shot of a full run, and by the end, all of them could do the full course in less than 40 seconds.
Wow.
And while we're watching, you might be wondering what happened to the squirrelaput. Unfortunately, they didn't really fall for my illusion much, but I'm about to show you the 2 times they did.
I want to be on the squirrelaput.
I turned the pressure to only 40% full power, so the acceleration the squirrel would feel is about half a G, which is 10 times less than a typical roller coaster.
Dude, the last roller coaster I rided, there was bugs in the sky, and they tried to warn me not to scream on the roller coaster because then you eat the bugs. But I couldn't think about it, so I was like, ah! And then when I got off the ride, I had to spit bugs out of my mouth. Thank you, Cedar Boy.
Additionally, I never turned on either the home wrecker trapdoor or the launch platform when I wasn't actively watching from inside my house, where I had a manual override button. Because as safe as it was, something about launching Fantastic Gus just didn't feel right. Now, what you're about to see is going to look pretty chaotic, but when we check the slow-mo, amazingly, I'll show you how the squirrel is totally in control pretty much the whole time. All right, now here's the second angle.
Holy shit!
Also, even if you don't trust my calculations, I can assure you that the squirrels did not care. In both launch cases, they were back up on the course in like 5 minutes. Here's the slow-mo, and see if you can spot the 2 critical things he does to make sure he lands feet down.
He spin really fast orbital laser.
Did you catch it? The first
He's
critical moment is right here.
He's like this.
He's already
like that.
done the predictive math, and he's locked his head on the spot where he plans to land. And now his head will not lose that lock the whole way down.
Nice.
What's crazy is the time it takes him to do all the predictive math to know exactly where he will land and to lock his head is 300 milliseconds. That's exactly this long, literally less than the blink of an eye. That blows my
Get him on my team. I am tired of losers and crybabies in my games. Put a damn squirrel on the controller.
mind, but if you think about it, it makes sense these reactions would have evolved to be razor sharp if you live your life in the trees, constantly making split-second decisions.
Wait, I like to react laser sharp? Do I live in the trees?
Now, besides picking the landing spot with his head, the second trick is with his arms. When he wants to keep his upper body from rotating, he has his arms out. But the moment he wants to rotate his upper body quickly, he tucks them in. And then when he wants to stop rotating, he extends them out again. This is straight up conservation of angular momentum. It's the same trick ice skaters use.
How do they think about
bring
that?
your limbs in if you want to rotate fast, extend them.
Wait, I want to see how fast I can spin. How do I go faster? I'm already getting dizzy. I'm old. Ah, I can't go any faster. Wait, arms out? Okay, you need 2 heavy objects right here. Okay, that helped. That helped. No more, no more, no more.
Out if you want to slow the rotation. My buddy Destin from Smarter Everyday also made a video analyzing how cats always land on their feet, and they do the exact same 2 tricks. The head target lock and bringing limbs in to rotate and out to stop rotation. Here's the second launch. And this may look like pure luck in real time, but the slow-mo tells a different story. In that
Did you manage to do the ballerina trick to make you spin you less dizzy faster? Jerk your head the opposite.
amount of time, he's already made a slight lateral push in that direction and locked his landing target with his head. We know from the previous clip he can rotate his body to any orientation, but he doesn't in this case because he sees his small push has already aligned him for the perfect landing. That's just so cool. And so after those 2 physics demonstrations, I disabled both the launcher and the home wrecker trapdoor and just let them enjoy the course in peace.
Do squirrels have thumbs? I don't think so. But what if they did? Then what? Okay, people are trying to decide if squirrels have thumbs. Do squirrels have thumbs? They have a primitive thumb, but they are not opposable like human thumbs. These tiny, partially developed thumbs feature smooth, flat nails instead of sharp claws, which let them grip and hold nuts and seeds. Huh.
As far as I was concerned, they had earned it. Plus, after spending a month together, we were sort of bros by this point. If they saw me coming out to work, they would certainly jump away, but then they'd just quickly be right back. And sadly, all good things must come to an end, and because I didn't want them to develop an unhealthy dependence on my handouts, after about
You're cut off, buddy. No more nuts for the rest of the week, okay? You're obviously getting a little cuckoo with all these nuts, man. Hi,
a week of free reign, I took down the course, but in its place, I put up a specialized squirrel-sized picnic table. Every morning, this door opens to release just a few walnuts as a little treat to remind them of our good times together.
I'd be pissed. After all we've gone through together, after I did your obstacle course, after I was doing backflips, landing, getting catapulted, I get 3 nuts. Uh-oh, it's coming. Sorry.
Although I had to laugh that after all this, somehow I didn't anticipate on day one, Frank would immediately try and figure out and partially succeed in finding a way to beat the system. Like,
Yeah, you already gave him 900 nuts. Bro's hungry. And don't even get me started with Fantastic Gus, okay? Fantastical Gus has got a family now. How is she gonna feed her baby?
everything else though, they quickly caught on, and now on some mornings I'll catch them just waiting for the daily wrap.
You just sitting at the table is so funny.
Chilling patiently on the bench seat. That is everyone
Give him
but
an iPad.
Fantastic Gus.
Okay. Why is he getting a nut enema? What could he possibly want his cheeks up there for?
Don't ever change, buddy. When I started this 2-month-long adventure trying to bird watch, I had no idea I would enjoy squirrel watching so much more. It's also
Don't even get him started with Overwatch.
made me realize that even amongst the structures and pavement and power lines, how
Mouse!
interesting nature can be in a
Opossum!
single suburban backyard if you just really stop to look. Even the plants are amazing.
Plants!
I had no idea that as vines grow, they spin around looking for something to grab onto.
Wait, what's the song? It's like, in the vine, you grow and you're the squirrel. Something like that.
I didn't anticipate the wide variety of animals that use
Kitty!
fences as inter-yard highways to get around as a substitute.
Wait, that was not a cat. What was that?
Vines grow, they spin around looking for something to grab onto. I didn't
Oh, it was a cat. Okay, sorry, his face was like very long.
anticipate the wide
That's a
variety of
cat!
animals that use fences as
Oh! I didn't see him use his stand and shapeshift. That's why I was confused.
inter-yard highways.
Okay, is it opossum or possum? Are they the same animal? Because there was this person that would bring like an opossum or a possum to the dog park, and then a bunch of ladies called the police on him and got his opossum arrested. They're different? What's the difference? Yeah. Opossum is NA. Oh. It was in Texas. So maybe he could just like have a duel and he would get released from prison.
to get around as a substitute for all the trees that existed
Birdie!
before we got here. Even little interactions like this spider extending his life.
That could be a recluse. He could attack, okay? I had a bunch of recluses in my backyard and I was scared every single day. And now there's a snake in my yard. And I can't even leave my boots out there anymore because you know what he's gonna do.
Life with this very timely leap into the unknown were just so delightful to see. But of all the animals, I can definitively say now that squirrels are my absolute favorite. And
Oh, chat, what's your favorite animal? Mine is obviously an octopus because, like, you know, you gotta be your #1 fan.
they're certainly a more formidable adversary than
Cars. Your car is your favorite animal? I mean, I'm not gonna judge you.
porch pirates. They're kind of adorable, incredibly crafty, curious by nature, athletic, and persistent.
Like
Turns out
me.
squirrels can live to be 20 years old, and so I like to think that someday Fantastic Gus
old.
will bring his grand squirrels to the fence and regale them with tales of cowboys
Look at him.
Wait! Bucky's!
and courage.
Wait, he's a beaver.
That was kind of speciesist to me.
And legendary walnut piles.
Aww. That was awesome. Thank you so much for watching. I super appreciate it. If you're new here, make sure to come by the Twitch stream, twitch.tv/BerryCrepe.
And use code Berry for 10% off your gamer subs order. I would also super appreciate that. I hope you have a great evening.
Goodbye, YouTube. Berry out. Let me spin out.
And here lives a truly extraordinary species.